So we can build the world and then the character to fit them, or we can do both at the same time, wherever we have like a clear start. So to make a character, we pick a name for a character. For inspiration, you can roll on a table, right? Again, setting, tables are settings, right? There are 5 stats. All right, here we're going to understand the stats now. Edge is your quickness, agility, and prowess in ranged combat. Heart is courage, willpower, empathy, sociability, and loyalty. All right. Iron is strength, endurance, aggressiveness, and prowess in close combat. Shadow is what we thought it was, sneakiness, deceptiveness, and cunning. And then wits are expertise, knowledge, and observation. So to start, you get a 3, 2 2s, and 2 1s to assign to your character. 1 thing you're really good at, 2 things you're pretty good at, and 2 things you're okay at. Start at +5 health. Spirit, same thing, right? It's your mental health. Supply, same thing. You start your supply, right? You and your allies, this is interesting. You and your allies share supply value. So when one of you adjusts, everyone adjusts. So again, other PCs are your allies. You share assets with them. This game explicitly leans away from PvP, which I think is probably why there's a subchapter about conflict between allies. And then we have our momentum, which we looked at. Start your first session with 2 vows: long-term goal and immediate situation. You'll find some starters on the various future pages. You swear an iron vow, give it a rank, and then use a vow progress. Now, I like that this is the inverse of the Court of Swords experience model, in that when you set the goal, you tell the GM and the other players how important that goal is. And as you build relationships and complete quests in the service of others, you create bonds. Bonds are important because they are how you retire. Right. If you're just out there murder hoboing, when it comes time to retire, you got no family, you got no friends, you got no village to go back to. You're probably going to end up living in a cave and talking to your sword, right? That's really interesting. I like the idea. And again, mechanisms are telling us about our characters. Mechanisms are telling us about the world that we are participating in. That's how we know what the game is about. Fantastic. It's great. System heavy, focus on narrative. I'm enthralled. I think this is very cool. Not to make a Viking pun by accident, but you know what I mean. I'm finding this very interesting. It's like maybe a little more complex than reading it makes sense, which is good because I want to try it. I want to see the system in play. Yeah. All right. So conditions are like temporary wounds. Banes are a permanent negative change to our character. And burdens are physical and emotional manifestations of like being cursed or tormented. All these are bad things that happen to you. Yeah. Cool. And then we talked about assets. These are things. If you want a hawk companion, here they are, and here's what they do. Oh my God. Is there, please let there be a companion that is a sword. Is that a thing? Fingers crossed. If not, I guess we could just make our own. Sword companion. Yep. Okay, cool. So there are companions, there are paths, there are combat talents, and there are rituals. You get 3 assets when you create your character. Some can only be obtained when you fulfill narrative or mechanical requirements. Oh. Right. Oh, fun. Ooh, I like that. So like, if you want to be Bannersworn, you have to mark a bond with a leader or faction, and then you can, so you forge a bond and then you're allowed to become Bannersworn. If you want to take Battle Scarred, you have to be maimed first. You have to earn them narratively. Oh, that's so cool. It's the apocalypse world. Now I wonder if this is prescriptive and descriptive, right? It seems to me that it is strictly descriptive, right? Like If I mark a bond with a leader or faction and have that background bond or make the forge a bond move, you may add the asset, but does this mean I just get it for free? Or do I, oh, it's in addition to the experience point cost. Interesting. So it's like, if I swear an oath and I make the move, I think I would probably allow players to take the asset now and then pay off a debt in experience, rather than be like, well, fictionally, you're banner sworn, but you don't get the benefit until you've earned another 500 experience. Yeah, I guess you could do it both ways, right? The game expects the latter. You have to spend the XP and you have to do the narrative thing. So it is prescriptive, not descriptive, or the other way around. Anyway, it makes sense. Okay. You can spend abilities to upgrade them, and then they give you a bunch of different stuff. Like you can be this badass lady with her hawk friend. Cool. All right. When you fulfill your vow, you gain experience between 1 and 5. And I guess if you're angling for a specific asset, you could make that your vow. Yeah, no, of course, right? So if I need to spend 3 experience to become banner sworn, I'm going to create a vow that is like, I vow to prove myself to Lady Pradelgart that I am a worthy warrior. So that when you do the vow, you get the XP. Now you've both fictionally and mechanically fulfilled that you are now banner sworn to Lady Pradelgart. Yeah, I love it. Okay. Nice, right? Self-directed goals plus assets with fictional attachment. That's very cool. Yeah. I will prove my worth. Yeah. I like it. So it does reward you thinking ahead about what you want to angle for, and then narratively and mechanically engaging that. Yeah. Cool. Got it. That's very cool. You can add a new asset for 3 XP or upgrade an asset with 2. To start, you have no experience. Yes. Okay. Oh, and experience doesn't, look at that. Experience doesn't reset. So when you spend it, you fill it in. You don't erase it. So eventually you hit end game because you can't get any more experience. So if you ace every single quest you're on, then you'd max out, right? Pretty quick, right? 5. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. There's 30 total. 6 quests at maximum. Yeah. But that would require I don't think you could actually do that. We'll look at 6 epic quests, like Hercules. Cool. I like it. Yes. More awesome art. Cool. In the first session, envision your current situation. Something has happened. This is your inciting incident. Make it personal. Give it teeth. If you need inspiration, look at the prompts for vows. I assume that you want to swear this starting oath together or have them related in some way, because if you did this by yourself, everybody's inciting incident would be different. I imagine if you're playing this as a group, you want to work on that together. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So fiction first, then move. Not everything is a move. That's true. Right? Make your moves matter, right? Stick to the results. When you're adventuring with allies, you make moves to resolve a challenge for the group. This represents your character taking the lead in a scene. Right. So whoever is the person doing the thing, you get the mechanical reward. Everyone else gets the narrative success. Sure, that makes sense. With the exception of Make a Camp and Sojourn, which is everybody works together. Allies can help by making the aid your ally move. And then there are 4 progress moves. Reach your destination, end the fight, fulfill your vow, write your epilogue, right? This is you build momentum until you're ready to end the fight. So you could look around and be like, all right, everybody, our momentum in this battle, we've been fighting with the enemy tribes, and we're about, like, I think we're ready to win, right? We're gonna push it. We've got a big bonus. Let's all end the fight. So one last thing, we raise our swords, we shout out our battle cry, and we push to end the fight. Right? But you don't want to do that early because you haven't built that momentum first. But you could also try to strike early on, right? Ambush, build a bunch of momentum before you get a chance to be harmed, and then end the fight decisively early on. Or I could see you getting caught in a slog where you're fighting, you're getting harmed, your stuff is dropping, you're gaining momentum, and like you can't clearly push to a point where it's safe to end the fight. That's very clever. I like that. So let's see. Initiative is a mechanism in combat reflecting who is in control. When your foe has initiative, you are forced to react. Initiative shifts between you and your foe depending on the results of your moves. Some moves are inherently proactive or offensive and can only be made when you have initiative. Other moves are reactive. Combat moves specify when you do that. Okay, all right. So there's like some special stuff for combat, which I don't want to dig too deeply into. There's a lot of game to look at. But the idea here is that knowing whether you are reacting or acting will determine, I guess, some bonuses on the moves that you make. Yeah, to avoid danger and to engage with that. All right. Worth a bit of a deeper look, but something I would note and move on, I think, in a first look. So let's take a glance at some of the stuff that the characters do. What are our moves, right? So face danger. This is our core move. This is the defy danger, right? This is the act under fire. We roll with the appropriate stat. On a strong hit, we succeed and gain a momentum. On a weak hit, we lose a momentum but succeed, or we endure harm, or we endure stress, or we sacrifice resources, something to continue a movement forward, right? I think most of the time weak hits on face danger will be -1 momentum unless it's clear that this stuff is at risk. On a miss, we pay the price. Or the GM makes a move if there is a GM, yeah. When you assess the situation to secure an advantage, right? This is the do a thing first to ready for another move. Right? You see the tsunami coming. You know you're going to have to face danger, but you have time to try to barricade yourself in your house before the tsunami hits. Secure an advantage. Then roll to face danger. Makes sense. Okay. Gather information. You secure search an area. This is the interrogating, the read a situation, right? This is that move. Heal. Resupply, make camp, all the recuperation moves, undertake a journey, right? Set the rank of the journey, right? How many ticks or progress do we need to make? Then for each segment, roll plus wits. If we leave from somewhere that shares a bond with us, add +1. Oh, that's cute. So they give you extra gear or they bolster your will as you leave. On a strong hit, you reach a waypoint. If it's unknown to you, envision it, then choose one. Mark progress and +1 momentum, but lose a supply. On a weak hit, reach a waypoint, mark progress, but -1 supply. On a miss, you're waylaid by a perilous event, pay the price. This is the journey move. Interesting. Okay. All right. So this is our kind of, like Indiana Jones. It's the dotted line move, right? Sometimes we stop to be waylaid by perilous events. Sometimes we reach a waypoint and describe it, and then we move on, right? Allies can help. Waypoints are a feature of the landscape. It might be a specific one, or it might just be like, we've reached one, let's describe it. And then we mark progress towards making the reach the destination move. Travel time is obviously abstracted in this case. Mounts don't matter unless you have an asset. right? Yeah, like Weathertop. Exactly. Yeah. Right. On a miss, you just encounter a danger. You don't actually make progress. So Weathertop could have been a miss or a scene at a waypoint with then an additional failure on the part of, they tried to make camp and somebody blew a roll. Yeah. I like it. Cool. Relationship moves are interacting with NPCs. So compel, this would be the move. This would be the move where I would roll to see if I can force Jurgen to give me my goddamn pig back. Right? Roll plus iron to threaten Jurgen to give me the pig. On a strong hit, they'll do what you want or share what you know, plus 1 momentum. I get my goddamn pig back from Jurgen. On a weak hit, Jurgen asks something of me in return. All right? Envision what they want. I guess please don't stab me. On a miss, they refuse. I have to fight Jurgen to get my damn pig back. Cool. Okay. So you compel people. Attempt to persuade someone to do something. Envision your approach and roll. Now, do we use this on our allies? It doesn't say that we don't. It's not mind control, some of that stuff. Is there something about whether we use this on other PCs? Doesn't seem to specify. I guess we'll keep looking. What do we do when we want to convince? What do we do when Jurgen is a PC? If you spend time in a community seeking assistance, this is how you roll to like get taken care of in a community. Right? That's sojourn. Draw the circle, right? Challenge someone to a debt, forge a bond. You spend time with a person or community. This is filling in your bonds. Test your bond. Your bond is tested through conflict, betrayal, or circumstance. Interesting. And then aid your ally, right? Secure an advantage and direct support of someone else. And then finally, when you write your epilogue, you retire from your life, envision what you hope for and what you fear. You roll. On a strong hit, they come to pass as you hope. On a weak hit, you envision an unexpected turn, and on a miss, your fears are realized. You make this move only once, when your character stops being an adventure person. Yeah, okay. And then in combat, when you first enter combat, set the rank of your foes, and then roll. And then within combat, if you have initiative, you can strike. If your foe has initiative, you can clash. That's interesting. So initiative determines whether you're striking or clashing, fighting or fighting back, and then turning the tide, right? When you risk it all, you can steal initiative to make a move. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. And like, it's interesting, the choice. So there's some chatter in chat about the idea of calling this move. We'll go back a bit. Calling this move compel, right? You can charm, pacify, or barter with heart, threaten or incite with iron, lie or swindle with shadow. But like compel, I think, is a neutral term, right? It's not seduce or manipulate. It's compel in the sense that it's like get someone to do something they wouldn't otherwise do. And you can do that in a kind way, right? You can compel someone to do something that they wouldn't otherwise do out of the goodness of your heart, right? You could compel someone to donate to a charity. You could compel someone to, I don't know, hydrate and eat a meal when they might not otherwise, right? It can come across as seeming kind of like aggressive, but I think this is the thing. If you're making someone do something they wouldn't do, you're affecting the outcome of their life, right? You're nudging them down a path they wouldn't otherwise go down. It's just about how you do it and what's at stake. There's a lot more here about like all communication being compulsion and like that whole kind of idea, but I think that's why it's called compel. You're just getting someone to do a thing when maybe they wouldn't do it on their own. Yeah. But yeah, when we name these things, there's a reason, right? I like that there is an elide the battle move. Like if you don't want to pace out every single fight. You can just be like, cool, it's a battle. Everybody roll. What do you depend on to win the battle? This is what happens. I think that's quite cool. Yeah. God. Look at all these cool people fighting. She's got 2 swords and a fucking sick cloak. I love it. So when bad things happen to us, we roll a suffer move like endure harm. And then we have to roll. If we miss, we roll on the oracular table here to see if we make another move. There are granularities of being dead here. So if you are at 0 health and you endure harm, you have to do the thing, right? Okay. When we face death, on a strong hit, death rejects us. On a weak hit, we die but get to make a noble sacrifice, or death desires something of you. This seems familiar to me. Swear an iron vow and complete that quest in exchange for your life. Yes, that's what I want. If I die in a role-playing game, this is the shit that I want. What does death demand? I swear a new iron vow, right? You have this, you come back to life. You should have died, but you don't. And now you're alive again, and you're acting all weird, pursuing this strange quest. And your friends are like, but Torvald, what's up? And Torvald, you're like, I no longer care for that pig. Jurgen can have him. I have a higher goal now. We must go north. But why, Torvald? What is in the north? I do not know, but we must go there. Right? Like, oh, it's so cool. Swearing an oath to death. Yup. Yeah, that's quite cool. I like it. When your companion faces physical damage. Oh, this is like if your hawk gets hurt. And then this is enduring mental shock or despair. I love that there's a move for facing despair. Way too often in role-playing games, enduring mental stress is like you get a psychic attack or you're tired. If you're physically tired and affects your endurance, or like you lose sanity points. But I like this idea that, so here's the thing. I go to face Jurgen, right? I finally meet him and I draw my sword and I say, Jurgen, give me that pig back. And I roll to compel Jurgen and I succeed, but I get a twist, right? And so the GM says to me, Jurgen nods solemnly and says, yes, Torvald, I did take your pig. I will give you back what I can. Please sit at my table. And when you sit down at the table, Jurgen gestures to the plate of bacon in front of him. Please roll to endure stress at the despair of the loss of your delicious pig. Right? You got what you wanted, but it wasn't like this. Not like this. And then I guess you can choose. If you roll, you might be overwhelmed. You might forsake your vow. You might give in to fear. You might kill Jurgen because he killed your precious pig, right? Like you got to roll to endure stress. I like it. It's good. Roll despair. If you face desolation. Oh, okay. So here's the analogy, right? So endure harm, face death, pairs up with endure stress, face desolation. On a miss, you succumb to despair or horror and are lost. As Jurgen lifts the plate of bacon up to your face, you stare down at it, realizing your quest was fruitless. I toss aside my sword, I throw aside my cloak, and I wander out alone and naked into the snow to die, knowing that I can never have my precious pig back. That's great. It's so good, right? So that can happen, right? Despair can kill you as bad as harm. Yeah. I also like that endure stress, embrace the darkness, take +1 momentum. I stare Jurgen in the eyes and I eat the entire plate of bacon all at once. And as I swallow that last piece, I say to Jurgen, spitting a piece of gristle on the floor, you've got 5 seconds, Jurgen. I'm still hungry. And I draw my axe. That's so good. Awesome. So there are moves. I love how many moves there are in this game. I like that it's like, here's what the game is about. There's a bunch of stuff going on narratively. There are moves for all of these things. Yeah. Cool. So we swear a vow to pursue our quest. When we reach a milestone in the quest, we mark, and people forget this is a move. There's no dice, but it's the same mechanical thing. When X happens, do Y. When you make progress in your quest, mark that progress, right? Easy. When you achieve what you believe to be the fulfillment of your vow, roll the challenge dice. On a strong hit, your quest is complete. On a weak hit, there's more to be done, or you realize the truth of your quest. Oh my God, it's so good. It's goals rolling one into another. So you sit down and you're like, I've confronted Jurgen about this pig. And I've drawn my sword and I've threatened Jurgen, and Jurgen is like, fine, you can have your fucking pig back. I'm going to roll to fulfill my vow. I got a weak hit. Wait a second. This wasn't about the pig at all. This was just an excuse for me to chase Jurgen across the countryside. I have a new quest. I vow I will prove myself a worthy husband to Jurgen, pig thief. God, I love you, Jurgen, but I must never let you know. Not until I am ready. And now I have a new quest. Prove myself to Jurgen the pig thief so that we might be wed. He's so clever and sneaky, and I know everything about him because I've been chasing him for a year across the fjords in search of my pig, but it wasn't the pig that I wanted, but love. Love was my true quest's desire, and now you have this new quest that's like an outcome of the original. On a miss, your quest is undone, right? You give up and forsake your vow or clear all but one progress and raise the quest. Oh, that's so cool. So you raise the quest rank by failing because your failure makes the quest more important. This is the, I swear to defeat the Black Knight. You fight the Black Knight, he kicks your ass, and you pick up your broken sword as he walks away. And you're like, oh, we're not done yet, Black Knight. And now you have a quest to commit to defeating the Black Knight, and now it's epic because it wasn't before, and you can swear another vow to reforge your sword and take out that Black Knight. That's very cool. Yeah. And you get to decide, right? When you achieve what you believe to be the fulfillment of your vow, you roll the challenge dice and compare your progress, right? So you have to progress on the quest before you are able to succeed at fulfilling it. But if you fulfill it, if you believe it's fulfilled early, chances are pretty good you're going to blow it, which will evolve your quest or, at the very least, allow you to recommit or give up. Yeah. Your path leads here, but it does not end here. And if you forsake your vow, you suffer spirit damage equal to the rank of your quest. That's it. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, wow. So like, okay, here's the deal, right? You renounce your quest, you endure stress, you suffer spirit damage. Forsaking a vow might cause you to despair and die. Die, right? Because it's linked. Forsake the vow, forcing you then to endure stress. The stress might be like 5 because it's an epic quest. You miss. Maybe you're at 0 spirit now. You roll a 1. You're now overwhelmed. You roll to face desolation. You miss. You succumb to despair or horror and are lost. And that to me feels like just as epic or cool as like, no, I press on. That idea of everything that drove me forward, I am giving up on, including like my life. Like I give up. I go out into the snow and I disappear. I'm going to become a warning to children of future generations, right? I'm going to become a bad guy. And when you, what does it say here? When you give up and despair, this is the end of your character's story. So that's a thing you can do. Yeah. And enduring stress can make you forsake your vow as well. It gives you that option, right? So cool. I love games where failure is as interesting as success. Yeah, really cool. So there you go. So these are our fate moves. These are the moves that you don't necessarily make if you have a GM at the table, but in solo mode, when you pay the price, these are broad fictional things that might happen as a result of a failure. These are just GM moves. They're GM moves with a table attached to them. Seriously, this is just the DM moves from Apocalypse World, the MC moves from Apocalypse World, but we've put an extra column with numbers on it. It's perfect. It's great. It's a very smart. I mean, like, you could make one player Apocalypse World by mimicking this game. Ask the Oracle, which we saw before, right? Pick 2, ask a yes or no question. These are just ways. It's clever. It's clever. So these are ways to make you a better game master by playing the solo game. That's it. Like, all of this stuff is like how to do when a player does something you don't know how to answer it. Ask these questions. Do you know the way? Would they consider this a trade? Do you drop your sword? Right? Pick 2 options, right? Like, this is just, it's just ways of telling you, it's ways of telling you how to run the game, but you're running it for yourself while you're playing it. So cool. So we talked a bit about what the Ironlands are like, right? Intentionally light detail, thematic detail you're supposed to fill in, right? They give us a blank map. Oh, this is cool. With regions. Traveling along. I was wondering about this. Okay, so travel is dependent on regions. It's troublesome within a single region, dangerous across a single one, difficult from or formidable from one to another, across multiples is extreme. This is the Banner Saga part. Yeah. One end of the Ironlands to another or to a separate land is epic. So if you want to go from the Barrier Islands all the way to the Shattered Wastes, that's an epic journey. But if you're traveling from one island to another, that's just a troublesome journey. Right. Cool. I assume the handouts are, there's like a map. There's a big map that you could put down in, you could print at your table, or you could put down on Roll20 and just start drawing in like villages and like where stuff is. It looks like a chunk of a photograph of like the surface of the moon. All right. Features of the various locations, and then a hook if you want to start in one of these locations. So again, this looks familiar, right? These are like tags for planets and stars without number. Like, if you're in the Barrier Islands, this is a bunch of shit that'll come up, probably. If you're in the Ragged Coast, if you're in the Deep Wilds, oh, I like this. The Flooded Lands, Havens, Hinterlands, Tempest Hills, Veiled Mountains, Shattered Wastes, etc., right? So that's our map. Now, how do we fill it in, right? This is the section called Your Truths. There's a workbook available on the website, but we'll go through it in here. What are we doing? We're checking boxes. Some choices contradict the choice you make in another. Find a particular choice. You can select multiple choices. There's no rules here. Oh, so it's like, what is true about each section? Okay. So what's true about the old world? Savage clans called the Skuld invaded. Sickness moved like a horrible wave. Or we killed the old world with felling the forest and eating out. Okay, all right. So there we go. This is what is true about the old world. Or we could write our own. What is true about iron? What is true about our legacy? Oh, that's so cool. That's so fucking cool. What the hell? I love that this isn't just what's true about a place, right? This question, answering this question isn't about, this isn't setting. We don't care about this, right? Like, it's not about what happened in the old world. It's about us. It's about what happened to our grandparents. It's like, why did we leave, right? Like, I don't care about 1940s England for its own sake, But my life is defined by 1940s England because my grandparents moved to Canada from there, and knowing why matters to me and my family. And I love that it's like, where did you come from? Iron, right? This is where are you? Why did you come here? What is true about iron, right? And I love this. Inscrutable metal pillars are found throughout the land. Just pillars of iron standing around the world. And it's like they give you quest ideas, they give you things to do, and you're building your world. And I always say, and I've talked about this all the time, setting doesn't matter except where it touches your narrative. And this gives you quest starters, it gives you things to touch, right? Legacies, communities, leaders, defense, mysticism, religion. This is helping us answer those questions. It's walking us through the session 0. You remember what I was talking about this with some game, probably more than once, where I was like, oh, I wish that a game would give us a guided session 0. I want more games to tell us what is our world like. It's a great example. Yeah. Horrors. And then talking about creating the map, right? So download the blank map, then using a separate sheet, index cards, or journal to create a key for the locations. Don't worry about details. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, this is the shit. This is that quiet ear shit. This is that microscope shit. Ooh, give it to me. All right, how do we do this? When you record the details of a community, include a note for any bond you share. In the example below, so as we discover, right, everything is a blank, but as we discover these things through quests and through journeys, we create new stuff. Right. Okay, cool. And then clip these to your map. So like Cairnholm is right here. It's a lonely fishing village with rotting shipwrecks, stacked stones for each of the lost. And we know Thorsten the sea captain, we have a bond with him, and Val the raider, who is an enemy. We know them in this location. Yeah. That's really cool. I like it. And so we just make note on our map where this stuff is. Right? Draw maps, leave blanks. I like it. Oh, look at that big wolf. There's Jurgen. Can you see why we love him? So this gives us some details about NPCs. They're divided by type, right? NPCs have a single mechanical attribute, which is to say their rank, how significant they are. That affects combat, affects progress. Features, NPCs might have drives or tactics. Let me see an example NPC. Here we go. Broken. They are troublesome, crazed eyes, painted skin, feral screams. Their drives are to show my power, share my pain, and their tactics are spring from hiding and ferocious attacks. Right. So this is shiny and chrome. Yeah, right. These are bandits. These are barbarians. These are a people that arrived here before us and then got broken. These are reavers, right? But the more important bit here is this is a stat block. This is the monster manual. It looks a lot like Dungeon World, right? Lots of narrative notes. Easy to know how to play these. And then this is their rank, which is the only mechanic that matters. Right. So here's a bunch of examples. And again, speaking as both a fan of role-playing games and the author of Dungeon World, monster manuals are also setting, right? Tables are setting, but monster manuals are setting. And this quest starter, I think, is a big help in that regard, right? And then we talk about the firstborn. These are the other people. The humans in their arrogance named this peninsula the Ironlands, call themselves Ironlanders, but the firstborn gave it names of their own in a time beyond the reach of memory. So if you use them, this is what elves are like by default. This is what giants are like. This is the primordials, right? But again, remember, we talked about this at the beginning. We can throw them out, right? We don't have to use them. And then here's stats for animals and what they do. Cool. Aw, what a good boy. Giant spiders, leviathans, mammoths, wyverns, things that could exist, right? And now horrors, chimeras, haunts, hollows, iron revenants. Yeah, I like it. Again, these are useful not simply as like monsters to throw at your players, but a way to understand the supernatural aspects of the world. Yeah, and what to include or what not to include. And then we get into the setting, which is to say our oracular tables, right? Again, nice clear layout, how to use them, right? Ask your question, pick a table, roll the dice, check the result, consider the answer in the context. If it's difficult to interpret, check up, one, or down, or reverse the digits. Once you got your answer, fit it into the narrative. All right. So let's see what these oracle tables look like. Nice and broad, right? An action. You get to town. What's going on here? Oh man, and you can pair it up with other tables. Okay, here, let's do that. Let's figure we get to a new town and we're going to figure out we arrive in a settlement, but something's going on in the settlement and I don't have a particular mind. Let me roll dice roller. We'll just roll the random Google one. So let's go. We'll roll 2d10. I got a 53 and a 92. 53 and 92. Okay. So in this case, it is a 53. Something is beginning. Something new is starting. 53, a beginning. 92, loss. Ooh. We arrive in town at the funeral of someone important to the town. This town is beginning a funeral. Yeah, totally. So you arrive just in time for a funeral. Now we could figure out where it is, right? Specifically or otherwise. We could name the settlement that we arrive in. Okay, it's Bleak Watch, right? We could see it has a set of troubles already. We could figure out who died, right? Let's do that. So we have a funeral in, let's name the town. Okay, so let's go. I need 2d10. No, get out of here, dice. How do I clear these? Get out of here. All right, let's roll 2d10. The town is called 28. So Axe. $23, okay. The town is not called 28. The town is called Axewood. Okay. So we arrive at the beginning of a funeral for someone in Axewood. They were a, let's see here. They were a 17. Okay. So they were a mercenary. Okay. So a mercenary in Axewood has died. And the whole town is having a funeral for them. What was their name? Let's roll. Roll a D100. Somebody the mercenary. Yeah, they could be like a local hero. Exactly. Let's roll another 2d10. So 67. Their name was Gwen. Rest in peace, Gwen. So Gwen died. Axewood is having a funeral for them. We have several names. Elf names, other names. Combat actions, mystic backlash. Ah, that's so cool. So now we have to figure out why. Like, what's important? There's Gwen. There's our mercenary right there. Rest in peace, Gwen. You were awesome. You were so awesome. The entire town of Axwood got together to praise you. Yeah, maybe they died defending the town, or they fought a monster or whatever. Maybe they died with a job unfinished that the PCs could now take on. I love it. Random tables rule. Good random tables rule very, very hard. Yeah. That's right, except Jurgen, he wasn't at the funeral. He was stealing my pig. Yeah, cool. All right, and then basically rules and formations for creating the world together and what to do to like begin your campaign. Yeah, cool. Set the scene in media res, right? Which, of course, we begin. And I like that it gives you two options, right? Do a little bit of like, what is your life like normally, then mix it up, or start with the mixing and then go back, right? Yeah. And then set your quest in motion as a response to the inciting incident, make your move. Oh, that's so cool. The way this game understands the gameplay loop of Powered by the Apocalypse, I'm almost envious. No, I'm not almost envious. I'm totally envious. I'm envious that this game had the time since Apocalypse World until the year it came out to learn and understand this stuff. Right? I guess this is why people make second editions of stuff, because there's so much in this game that I'm like, yes, we all learned this together playing Apocalypse World and playing Dungeon World and playing Sagas of the Icelanders. Like, you've taken all of that learning and you've put it into your game in a really cool way. Yeah. Like, I'm happy to be surprised by a PBTA game these days. Like, I honestly, most of the time, feel like there isn't that much more to offer, but I'm clearly wrong. Like, Ironsworn is doing some really cool stuff with the same framework. Yeah. Yeah, very cool. A lot of really good. And I love that this isn't presented as GM advice. These are tools for anybody, solo, co-op, or GMs, to come up with their own campaign, right? Giving us flavor for milestones, how that works, undertaking quests, how this stuff can overlap. Yeah, this is great. Very good guidance. Oh my God, this is so cool. I'm going to read this section in depth because I think it's going to help me not to run this, but for Court of Swords. Yeah, that's super cool. Forging bonds, advancing your character. There's Gwen again. Gwen can ride horses. You're so cool. Right. And then principles for managing the sessions. There is something very cool about taking a step back, teaching a game as these are the rules for everyone, then saying the GM is optional. It's backwards. Most games are like, here are all the rules. Here are the GM rules. Here are the player rules. If there's a solo version of the game, you're your own GM, so read the GM chapter. But instead, this game is saying, here's the game. You don't need a GM. If you have one, they're doing the same job as you. You're all doing the same job. It's just they're focusing on certain stuff. But everybody should be doing this. And then there's specific advice for certain stuff. And then the more you play, the more players you play with, the more stuff you have. How to do one-shots. I'm not gonna lie, when I first looked at the page count, I was like, 270 pages? That's a lot, he said, hypocritically looking at how thick Dungeon World is. But like, I get it. I understand now. The game justifies its page count. Here we go. opposing an ally. Ironsworn moves are not intended to provoke or reinforce conflict. Thank you for just clearly laying this out. The focus on the drama and challenge of perilous quests in a harsh world. You and your allies will stand together against the forces that would see your vows unfulfilled. That said, situations in the fiction may put you at odds with your allies. Your characters aren't perfect. You might act selfishly. Disagreements between characters can be handled through role-playing without engaging with the moves. If they get heated or uncomfortable, take a break. If you're taking an action in opposition to an ally and you want to use the moves, you both describe what you're doing and face danger using an appropriate stat. If at least one of you scores a hit, again, this is shit that it's funny. You release a game and you watch people iterate on the stuff you say in that game, and you see them do a really good job explaining something that you should have explained in your game, but you didn't realize that you needed to. Because I get this a lot, right? Because I think that the Dungeon World, as with this game, it's not a PvP game. PvP is supposed to be, it's not supposed to work in Dungeon World, but Ironsworn does a pretty good job saying, like, this is how you do it. These are your options, because it's going to come up. Scene challenge, which to me, I think looks like it's a countdown clock. Yep, countdown track. Yep. Semi-random campaign setup. Do you want to randomly? Oh my God. So it's random character generation. You can roll on a table to figure out your stats. You can randomly draw cards. You can ask the Oracle, and then you have a random character. You don't even need to make your own character. That's really cool. And then here's how to hack, right? Exploring other genres, tweaking the assets, reskinning them. And then here's our example of play, which I will gloss over right now, but I think these are really useful. And then aftermath of play. That's so cool. And that's it. I remember getting a copy of Ironsworn, and I think probably a fan sent it to me. I think probably somebody said, like, hey, I got this RPG you're probably going to like. You should check it out. And I love when people do that. And they sent me the link, and I downloaded the free version, and I looked at it, and I was like, this seems cool. I don't have a lot of time to dig into it. And I probably discounted it as like it's a Viking game, right? It's a Viking fantasy game. Ironsworn has proven itself to be considerably more than that. And I'm really, really glad that I came back and did a full look at it. At this point, at the end of this first look, even if you do nothing, even if you just take the game and look at it, the PDF is free, which is insane to me. We're not going to get into like marketing and value of games and shit, but like you're going to find something in here that's interesting to you. So go get that PDF before Sean realizes what a terrific mistake that he has made giving this game away. And yeah, go to the page. I'm looking at drive-through right now. I'm loading up the page. Yeah, PDF $0. So if you're interested, go and get it. Go get that PDF and dig into it yourself, right? Take that time. It will cost you exactly nothing. I'm gonna buy, I think, the hardcover. I think I'm gonna upgrade to the physical copy of this game. It seems really cool, and I think it wouldn't surprise me if we did a solo game in the future. The next time I have a little extra time, right? Next time we have like some space where there's no video game I want to jump into. I think doing a little a little solo game, or like getting a couple of people together and doing a co-op game might be fun. Yeah, Dave, do you want to try? Should we put together a little co-op game? Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. I think we should do that. Yeah. Yeah, get a couple of people together and we'll put something together. Yeah, maybe next year we could do it. But yeah, go check it out. And if you're curious, like I said at the beginning, Ask the Oracle. There's an RPG podcast of Ironsworn you can check out. And I understand there's a Discord as well, an Ironsworn Discord. So I guess if you want to see if there are other settings, or you want to check in on those upcoming supplements, definitely go and check those out. It's nice. It's nice when I do a sponsored first look and I don't have to find things to like about a game. I can instead just be like, it's inexpensive. It does some cool things. Even if you don't like the whole game or you don't like the setting, it gives you tools to make your own stuff. I can say unequivocally at the end of this first look, like, go check it out. It's definitely worth a look. If you're watching this live, you're in chat, ! Ironsworn. We'll get you the link. If you're watching this on YouTube, bit.ly/Ironsworn FL. Go check it out. Get the PDF. Take it for a test drive, and see what it can do. And you know what? In the comments and on Twitter, like, let me know. I went on an imaginary quest to retrieve my pig from a man named Jurgen. And in failing to do so, I realized that it wasn't really about the pig. It was about Jurgen. And now I hope that I will make Jurgen love me. Tell me what your quests were about. I love this idea of us being able to share stories from the same material, right? Share stories from the same starting place. Now, I wanted to show, because some folks were asking, I wanted to show off the asset cards before we go. So these are the assets. If you wanted to see, it's a print and play assets sheet. You could very easily have this as a deck in Roll20 as well. So if you wanted to play a character who has a giant spider as a companion, or a person as a companion, or a mammoth, or a wyvern, if you want to be blade bound or battle scarred, if you want to be a fortune hunter, an oath breaker, or masked, these are all the assets that make up the game. And you will get them as you play. You get them at character creation, and you might randomly generate them if you want to take that approach. So hopefully this has got your interest up in Ironsworn. It certainly worked on me. I'm much more curious about this game now that I've taken a look through it. If I were in a game store and I took this time to like flip through it, I wouldn't be able to walk out of the store without a copy in hand. So it's nice. It's nice to be able to do that. So thank you for coming, everybody, and for checking out this first look. This has been Ironsworn. I hope that it has inspired and excited you. I hope that it's something that you are interested in learning more about. And I hope that you will tune in next time for our next RPG first look. I have 3 more in the works right now. I have 2 I'm 100% doing, and I have a 3rd that I'm still deciding. So those will all probably happen between now and the end of the year. So we got lots more first look content. And as always, if you are an RPG developer, if you're an RPG producer, if you are a fan of mine or a fan of a game that you think I should take a first look at, hit me up, get at me, because I love doing these. So reach out, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. That's it for me for now. Thank you for coming. See you next time. Bye, everybody.